Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dottie here, back with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a buyer's guide on the LS4 cars. So we're going to be talking about all four of them. And we're going to be talking about red flags. We're going to be talking about market value and everything, what to look for on a test drive. And really, everything you guys need to know not to get screwed when buying one of these cars. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Okay, first and foremost of these cars, you want to get underneath the hood. And I know I sound like a broken record when I say this, but you really want to make sure that the DOD is deleted, or the AFM. You also want to make sure that it either has like a trans tune, a trans cooler, or it has a recently rebuilt transmission, because if you're looking at about 150,000 miles, that's when both those things tend to go, maybe earlier sometimes. So I would look into a history of the car, you know, talk to the owner. Also, you're going to want to check your transmission fluid. That is the dipstick right there. If it looks like it's recently new or has recently been changed, I would ask the owner about it, you know, just because it can be kind of sketchy when people just add new fluid into a car to make it look better. And obviously there's the oil dipstick. Just make sure that the levels look good, that the oil looks fresh and whatnot. And yeah, you really want to take precaution in these cars and make sure that they've been maintained well. Another thing that you might want to check, excuse the mess, this is my work vehicle and I drive it about 400-500 miles a week. So I don't have too much time to clean it. But anyway, this is going to sound weird to the southern people, but you want to look underneath the car. Make sure everything looks solid, especially on these rockers right here. I was looking at a Grand Prix GXP about a year ago, and all this right here, it was just bubbling over. Even this little plaque right here was bubbling over. It was pretty bad. And honestly, when that starts to go, you know, the rest of the car is going to go. It'll also rust back here in the wheel well. So yeah. If you also, this is going to sound weird, but check the seats. I think that when people really take care of their cars, you can tell the interior looks good too, which is something that a lot of people look over. Also, I would check the rims and tires, just make sure everything's up to date and whatnot, because that's going to be something that you're going to be spending probably $1,000 on if you overlook it. Okay guys, so time to talk about market value. These cars, at least here in Michigan, are very plentiful. You can find them all over the place, and you can find them for as low as $3,000. I would really recommend staying away from cars like that, because you have no idea what's wrong with them. I mean, you might spend that just in parts and labor. And then you got cars as high as I've seen $11,000, which you don't exactly need those cars either. I mean, yeah, you're gonna buy them for that, and you're probably gonna have no problems whatsoever, but I think the sweet spot is about $6,000 to $7,000. If you can find them in that range, you're gonna be looking for a pretty decent car that has been pretty well maintained and has, you know, the DOD delete and maybe a trans tune. This pretty much goes for every LS4 car. It seems like they fall underneath the same price umbrella, and I think you'll be pretty content with a car of that price range. One thing I would like to point out is that the LaCrosse is kind of the luxury model. And the Impala SS is kind of the luxury one, but kind of sporty sedan. The Monte Carlo is the sleek coupe that I think a lot of people gravitate toward just because of the looks. And the GXP is kind of the classic. I mean, it's got paddle shifters. It's kind of like what the LS4 is based off of. That's a lot of people's go-to car, and I think that one has the biggest price range. So if you're looking at one, then I would certainly look at your options, because they have a little bit of something for everybody. Okay guys, a couple things I wanted to talk about before we leave is that the struts tend to go bad on these cars, and the rear end will sag, and the struts are really difficult to find, hence they are pretty expensive. Also, the engine mounts tend to go bad, so if you want to do a little bit of preventative maintenance, I would buy upgraded ones. They're relatively easy to find and not extremely expensive by any means. Also, when you're on your test drive, make sure that the transmission shifts in all 4 gears and reverse. Also, make sure that there's no lifter tick. But honestly, guys, it might sound like I'm kind of dogging on this car a little bit, but I really do love my car so far. I've put about 7,000 miles on this car, and there's been nothing but good to me. So hopefully I get another 7,000. But with that being said, guys, thank you for staying this long into the video, and I hope you guys have a great day.